Folio 30 recto continues with the 19th and 20th plays, which are the soprano torre di spada setup and conclusion. So, if we start from the crossing of the sword, I have a space to enter on the outside. I place the handle of my sword against the flat of her sword, reach over and wind that sword in a great big circle, like so. I am holding on to the sword because swords are expensive and so are floors, but you should just let it fly away and then shears disarm, you're there holding the sword. Your life should get very easy from there on. And if we do that with a little bit of movement, easy peasy. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
From the crossing of the sword, I find the flat of her sword with my handle, reach over her arms and turn. Now I'm catching hold of her sword. I should be letting it fall, but I'm not gonna. With a little bit of movement. Oh, it's lovely. It's pretty, isn't it?
It is really good.
Now, for left-handers or cross-handed pairs, these actions don't work the same way at all. The one that does work very well is the final one, so I'll show you the cross-hand variation there. You wouldn't do this left-handed against right-handed or vice versa in this sort of way. You would do the final one. The last three plays on Stretto are three variations on the taking of the sword. We've seen soprano, which is from above. The next two are mezzano and Sautano. And the way these work are exactly the same, only the grip is different. So instead of being here, I'm here, and around we go. With a little bit of movement. Doesn't really matter which way up your hand is. I grabbed that naturally that way round. Really it should have been this way round, but never mind. So really it should have been palm up like that. But you get what you get, and if you make the turn with the correct mechanics, it'll strip right out of her hand. Let's see the mezzano from the other side. This is the 21st play of the Stretto. So from here, I make that connection, grab the handle between the hands. As you may have noticed, Jessica is using a sword with a slightly longer handle than she was before to make this technique easier to demonstrate. So from here, grab and turn, and with a little bit of movement. Oh, lovely. The last one of these disarms or torre di spada is Sautano from below. And the only difference is you grab the pommel. So we're here. Connection here is the same. Hand comes underneath, grabs the pommel, and round you go. The turn is the same, the grab is the same. Come this way a little bit. So we're here. Lovely, with a little bit of motion. And on this side, a little bit of pressure. There it is. Of course, this is very cooperative. She knows it's coming, she's letting it happen. It's not usually this easy in free play. The last play of the Stretto, you drop your sword to grab theirs, which is a little counterintuitive, but it's there in the book. So, from the crossing of the sword, I reach under my sword to grab her blade. I drop that, maybe on her head, definitely on the floor, and take the sword away with both hands. When I'm teaching these disarms, I always start with this one, because if you just stick your sword out, pretty much everyone gets the turn right quite quickly if they get to use both hands on the sword. And then when you add this, they already know what the mechanics should feel like. So this is more difficult to do than doing the thing with a grab. So from here, reach under and grab, boink. There it is. Now, swords are expensive, floors are expensive. So I'll just leave that out of the way. So with an entirely droppable sword, it doesn't matter if it lands on a foot.
No.
So just with a droppable sword for safety's sake. Easy peasy. And if we do it with a little bit of movement, oh God.
I know.
That's how I would tend to do it, which gives you that sense of entering in undercover. Let me show that again. So from here, I would tend to lift the hands, and that gives me that cover. Boom. So we're across here. I let go with my right hand. There it is, with a little bit of movement. Have to do it once with a real sword.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No, I didn't think you did. And with a properly droppable sword. It's so much easier when you can just drop the sword. Now, if you're left-handed, this is quite straightforward. So you're crossed on this side. You'll grab the weapon, drop yours, and the turn is the same. You don't really want to be turning the other way. Yeah, this is harder to get to a good place, but it can be done. So you can do it either way. So as a left-hander, if I'm crossed from my drittle side, that gives me the closest thing to what we see. Beg pardon, we're crossed from my reversal side. That gives us the closest thing to what we've seen before. And if I'm crossed from my drittle side, it gets a little weird, but it works just fine. And with a thoroughly droppable sword, as a left-hander, I'm here, much easier. It's so much easier when you can just step under the sword, because Fiore says to reach under your sword, and I think this is why. It's just so natural. And I could whack you there if I wanted to, but maybe I've made a bet that I can finish this duel without actually injuring them, or maybe I want to take them for ransom rather than kill them. There are lots of good reasons not to kill a person in a sword fight. Do one more coming from the other side. So that entry, you're going to grab with the closest hand, grab and take it away. So here, you're going to reach up and grab with the left hand, drop the sword, and take it away. Wonderful.